Hi everyone, I've got a new video for you today. I'll be showing off some more of the Face Hunter deck. Last video I made only showed off the Warlock matchup, and I'd like to show off a few more different matchups, possibly, in this video. Here's the deck list again, just as a recap. If you want, you can pause the video right now and have a look. I go over all the cards in my guide on the site. And mulligans and whatnot are also covered. This video is just to show you thought processes when you're actually playing, what decisions you should be making when you're actually playing the deck. Alright, let's get back into some games then. One thing you should notice as I'm playing this deck is how quick the matches are. You rarely go above, say, 5 or 6 minutes. The mirror match is an interesting one, as you're both setting off each other's secrets all the time and buffing each other's bows. So explosive is good against Hunter. The other card's not so good in the opening hand. Oh, this is absolutely beautiful, this hand. This is just what I wanted. Turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, turn 4. So, and something to refill the hand later. The reason you don't coin out the bow on turn 2 is turn 3 you don't really have a good play with a trap and like a 1-drop. Like if you have a 1-drop in your hand, then maybe like a second Leponome. But usually you just coin out the second Leponome whenever. Got my Buzzard Unleashed for turn 5. This is looking really nice. If we see an animal companion here, we're thinking mid-range. Okay. A good part of me wants to kill this, but I know that as a Face Hunter, I need to keep the damage going. I can coin out a Buzzard Unleashed next turn and take it out if needs be. And I've got Hunter's Mark to get through a taunted minion. Or a Snapjaw for that matter. That's pretty nice. So I think I will go for the Buzzard Unleash here. Draw 2 cards. So, it's looking like maybe Wolf Rider Trap next turn. Leponome Trap Hero Power could be very nice too. Preferably play a Beast and draw a card though. So I'd say Misdirect is the strongest trap here. So I'm going to go... Well, I'm going to play 2 traps actually. I'm going to go Explosive. You always play Explosive first. Then I'm going to play Misdirect. And then I'm going to play Leponome. These bananas will be nice for pushing for a little bit more damage later on. If this Mukla misdirects into the enemy hunter's face, I think I'm going to win the game. So you play the explosive first, wipes out all the little guys. There's a bit more durability on my weapon coming out. Let's see where the misdirect goes. Onto the Leponome, that's just fine. The Leponome explodes, dealing damage to the face. I can kill that with a hound now. Let's see if he kills this guy. He's unleashing a single hound to get rid of this, which is fairly smart. Another trap. So I'm gonna hit face first, see if it's explosive. That makes me think it's misdirect or freezing. So going to get the Wolf Rider at the face. It's freezing. That's okay. And I'm going to save the Unleash so I can unleash Kill Command. Well, ping. Down to 10 life. Hit him in the face. I can bring him down to 7. Unleash Kill Command Banana. Looking very strong. One, 2, 3. Yeah, way over lethal. There we go. Nice easy game. I won on turn 7 as I had a good opener. Fairly straightforward. Alright, I found another game. What you have to remember when climbing the ladder is you're just aiming for above a 50% win rate. Oh, another hunter. Bit peculiar, but I'm not complaining. Flare's good, keep flare, tracking's bad, unleash is bad. Leopard are great. Okay. Going a second again, which means he's going to hit 7 mana first, so he has the potential to kill me first if he's playing Face Hunter. Abusive Sergeant is a very bad Leper Gnome on turn 1, so it's not worth playing him every time, but in this situation I will. I want to play something every turn. And I can do the Hero Power, Bow, Trap, Ping play I was telling you about. Flare is going to be a very good card. And I can coin it out whenever I need to. It's real. So, if he traps up, I can Eagle Horn Bow. So, I'm going to Hunter's Mark that. I have all 3 traps to choose from. I'm considering double trap, although that is really weak to an opponent's flare, so I probably won't do that. I think a single explosive and a hero power would be the way to go. Actually, he hasn't played anything yet, so it makes me not want to explosive as I don't want to waste it. I think I'll misdirect and ping, because if he flares, takes out my misdirect, I'm not too concerned I have a second one in hand. I'm pretty happy with how this match is going. Sorry. Let's see what he plays. King Mukla would actually... He would think it'd be very good for him. It's actually terrible, but... Yeah. If I draw another bow, I will attack with the bow and re-equip. I'm going to play my freezing trap as well, I think. Don't want to waste the mana. I've got a lot of reactionary plays here. I want to be drawing like Leper Gnomes and things I can actually get on the board. Freezing is going to be great against that, so is Misdirect. So I'm going to do Arcane Golem Ping here. That's a very straightforward play. You know you want to attack face with this deck. And he's gone. Wonderful. Extra bow charge. I still have my misdirect up as well, which is pretty good. I've got 9 damage, instant next turn, currently. So I think I'll be using Flare this turn to get rid of that hero, that secret. It's probably explosive though. Now I find this surprising actually. He started playing aggro cards, but he didn't seem to be an aggro deck. So let's flare off that. And win the game with Leroy, I suppose. Easy game. 1 on turn 7 again. As you do. First game found. So, this is a Paladin deck. There are 2 different types of Paladin decks you need to be aware of. There's the Heal Paladin, which you see every now and then. It's the only real Paladin you need to worry about when playing this deck. As you put face damage, they heal it and you lose. If it's a more aggressive deck where they like running Squires and Knife Jugglers and similar to Zoo, just with Paladin, you'll have no problem. I don't like to mulligan as if it's the Heal Paladin, because I feel like that is a lost matchup regardless, so against the more aggressive where they summon a lot of minions, Unleash the Hound's very good, Eaglehorn Bow very good, Tracking Timberwolf, I can have better cards than that. Summon Explosive Trap is incredible. This is a very strong opening hand. Didn't see a turn 1 play. That makes me think that it could be a less aggressive, more control-y Paladin. So, I'm not going to play anything this turn. We'll know fairly shortly what kind of deck he is. Okay, this is the aggressive Paladin deck. He just didn't have a 1-drop in his opening hand. So I'm going to follow the usual opener, where I go turn 1, 1-drop if you got it, turn 2, Hero Power, turn 3, Bow, hit face, turn 4, Explosive Trap, ping. Quite good to also have the Unleash the Hounds and Timberwolf in my hand at the moment, as it's a good clear or huge damage dealer. You don't usually see Sen'jin Shieldmasters in decks like these, so here's the explosive. And at the moment I'm debating on whether I want to Steady Shot or Misdirection. I think keeping the damage up is best, so I'm going to continue hitting my opponent, and I'm using the Hunter's Mark here, so the Explosive Trap will kill his entire board. If he doesn't attack, because he knows this is explosive, I would have followed suit with Unleash the Hounds, Timberwolf, drawn cards if I drew Buzzard, otherwise just huge damage. Okay, so there's the first heal spell. It's very tempting just to instantly go for face, don't think about the play at all. That's kind of what I almost did there. But really you need to plan out what you fancy doing for the next few turns. I'd rather not give this guy too much more mana, so I'm not thinking Arcane Golem. I'm thinking Wolf Rider, ping, attack face. Alternative plays are Wolf Rider Misdirection, or Arcane Golem Misdirection. I think the best play here is to Wolf Rider, ping, attack face. If I'd had an Explosive Trap, possibly even a Freezing, I might have played it. But I don't want the trap to get set off by the 1-1, as it's kind of a waste. Okay. So, this seems to be more of a mid-range Paladin deck of sorts, where he's playing like a really, really even curve, so he's trying to curve out every single turn. Against Can Bloodhoof, Misdirection is incredible, so I'm playing that. I'm also going to ping, and nothing else. I want this Can Bloodhoof to turn around, hit him in the face for 4 damage, give me extra durability on my weapon. Freezing would also have been very good against Ken. Explosive, not so much. There isn't too much difference between 8 and 9 mana when you're thinking about large cards that a Paladin can have. Doesn't really have any 9 drops, so I'm feeling better about using Arcane Golem this turn. In terms of damage, I can deal 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 through these cards. Unleash the Hound's double Timberwolf is 4 damage. Doesn't seem really worthwhile. I'm going to flare, draw a card. Worst case scenario, I'm down a single card that I can play this turn. Okay, so my options now seem to be Arcane Golem Ping, Leponome, or tracking into something better. I think I'm going to go for the Arcane Golem, Leponome Ping, attack, attack. So he's essentially on 9 health right now, as the 2 damage from Leponome and the 2 healing from True Silver cancel each other out. So I'm looking for, like, a Leroy. He didn't use his Lay on Hands this turn, which is very good for me. Okay, so Sunwalker requires an Unleash the Hounds to remove. So I'm going to Tracking first, as I can play my entire hand regardless. I believe if I take Kill Command I can just outright win the game. Let me think for a moment. Unleash, Kill Command, Timberwolf, Timberwolf. So I Unleash, I make 3 Hounds. I bump the first Hound into the Sunwalker. I Hunter's Mark the Hound, bump the second Hound into the Sunwalker. Yeah, I can easily do it. So Kill Command it is. Didn't even need the Timberwolves this game, or the coin for that matter. Probably could have coined out an earlier flare or an earlier tracking, but I didn't really feel it was necessary. I was kind of saving the mana in case I needed to do like a Leroy Jenkins, Unleash the Hound, Timberwolf, Timberwolf and Buzzard, and overspend perhaps. That game seemed to go very well, showing you that the heal Paladin is beatable. I call that a heal Paladin as they're running Holy Light and potentially Lay on Hands. Any Paladin that doesn't run that and opts for more aggressive play, I categorize them differently. Alright, found a game now. So there are 2 rogues that I see on the ladder at the moment. There's a more tempo-oriented rogue and there's a more combo-oriented rogue. Against both of them, I feel like rushing really hard is the way to go. And for that matter, I want my bow, I want my explosive trap, and I want a good 1-drop. As I'm going second, abusive is really, really quite poor, because the rogue can just hero power and kill him. Doesn't get an attack in, and I don't get the battle cry effect. Hunter's Mark could be useful, but I think I prefer to hard mulligan for a better draw. Kill Command is good, but I want to draw that later on, and Freezing Trap is reasonable. No, I'm just going to hard mulligan. Try and get the best possible opening hand. So this isn't necessarily any better or worse than the previous hand. The cards I've got really aren't that good. Wolf Riders die to backstabs and SI7 agents. Timberwolf is completely and utterly useless till I draw something better. This could be an aggressive tempo rogue here. Don't really want to play anything. If I play Timberwolf, we just get stabbed by the rogue hero power. If the rogue uses up a durability on the weapon, chances are they don't have deadly poison in their hand, so you can kind of play around that. I'm just going for the ping pass here because I don't really want to use misdirection. It's of note that if I misdirect, the Leper Gnome will turn around, attack the rogue in the face. This 1 damage on the rogue's weapon will kill the Leper Gnome, which can be quite nice. But I feel like just hero power, use misdirect when I have a better opportunity. Like when I have a bow out, for example. So I'm thinking Unleash Timberwolf if he plays a lot of cards with coin. Otherwise I'm thinking Wolf Rider, just hit him in the face. Okay, so he's re-equipped the dagger. I'm going for the Wolf Rider play. There's not really any point playing anything else. I'm thinking of a turn 6 Leroy Jenkins Unleash the Hound, so I'm considering not really clearing his board very much. We haven't seen too much out of this rogue yet. Turn 7 I can Leroy Jenkins Unleash the Hound's coin Timberwolf for quite a lot of damage. With the board state as it is though, I think three minions is kind of what you want to aim for with Unleash. Any less and you're kind of just not really getting good value out of it. I feel at the moment if I wait too long, if I wait for say turn 7 to come around when I can do my combo, leaving these guys up, I'll just die. So I'm going to play my explosive trap. And I'm just going to ping. If I play the Wolf Rider, he can trade a Leper Gnome into it before the explosive goes off. If I just have explosive up, they both die. I'm also fairly strong against things like Defender of Argus and Shattered Sun Cleric, things that buff enemy minions up health by 1. So he's setting off the explosive trap by the looks of it. Which is fine. I do take 5 damage though because of the death rattles. But I take the damage from the death rattles while they attack, and then I take the damage from the death rattles again anyway. Eviscerate, okay, he's decided to start rushing me, which I believe is a smart play. As he's starting to rush me, I am going to start putting up misdirections and freezing traps and things like that. I've got Misdirection Wolf Rider here to use all of my mana. I'm saving my coin for the Leroy Unleash on turn 6. No point using Hunter's Mark. Chances are, I mean, he trades the Divine Shield into here, or drops the Divine Shield in favour of a Blood Knight, getting a 6/6, potentially even a 9/9 if he plays more Divine Shields. I've got Hunter's Mark though, which is very, very strong against Blood Knight. So I'm not too worried about that. In terms of damage at the moment, if I go, oh, he's hitting his own 1/1. which is nice for me. He's down to 14 life. In terms of damage I can deal at the moment, I'm thinking 6 from Leroy Jenkins, 2 from the Unleash the Hounds, double that from Timberwolf. I think I might wait one more turn for... yeah, might wait just a single extra turn for Leroy Jenkins Unleash. Let's just check damage. 10 damage from Leroy Arcane Golem with Coin. Leroy, Coin, Unleash. Summons 4 minions on his side of the board, so it's 10 again. Leroy, Abusive Sergeant, Ping with Coin is still 10. So it seems as though I can't really kill him this turn. So I think I'm not going to try. I'm going to go Freezing, Misdirection, Ping. Freezing first, as a minion attacks, goes back to his hand. Misdirection second, as if he misdirects and then freezes, they both go off at the same time. So he's procced the Misdirection. Hitting that, that's nice. 10 damage, that's lethal range. So we're hoping he doesn't have, say, a Leroy Jenkins or something to that effect at the moment. He had it. If you've got Shadow Step, Cold Blood, whole manner of things, you can kill me here. Southsea Deckhand. Yeah. Quite a close match there. If the Timberwolf in my opening hand had been, say, a Leponome, I would have easily won that match. But sometimes you just don't get the good draws, and you end up being very, very short of lethal for a very long time. Oh well, let's keep playing. Here we are in another game. And... okay then. I actually had a pretty good opening hand. Let's try that again. Alright, let's pretend that one didn't happen. That's not how you meant to win with this deck. So against Paladin, Flare is good. Leroy later. Timberwolf later, Misdirection later. I want my bow, want my Leponome. Got my bow. Unleash is good. Flare's good for removing those pesky secrets. If we see Ardent Squire here, we know he's aggro. Oh, Leponome turn 1. Perfect. If I draw a trap anytime soon, I can have the ideal opener. So I'm only going to get the 4 damage out of the Leponome. I don't get lucky and get 6. There's no point coining out the Eaglehorn bow, really. I could just play the bow on the curve. Okay, seeing Loot Hoarder. Doesn't really tell you too much about the deck, it's just a cycle card. Bow to the face. I would like to draw cards fairly soon with a Buzzard, if possible. Okay, so I'm thinking more of a control matchup. I'm going to save the Unleash for draw, try and build up my hand a bit. Ah, I even drew the explosive. That's the ideal opener. Unfortunately, it's against a less than ideal matchup. So the correct thing here is to attack before you play a card. If it's Misdirection or Explosive, you have a chance of drawing off that guy. So I think I'm going to save Hunter's Mark for something bigger than this guy. I don't feel like I need to Hunter's Mark him. I'm not too worried about secrets now, knowing it's a slower deck. Yeah, so Lepinome's is fine. I'm going to Leponome Misdirection and coin out the ping to fill out my curve. No point at all using Arcane Golem here because he just dies to Sen'jin, doesn't even kill it. With the Leponome out, if he attacks here, I can use my weapon to just to kill it. No, he's hit face, that's the ideal scenario. Kodo, that's unfortunate. You don't see Kodo very much anymore, so I wasn't really even thinking about it. Haven't seen Kodo for a long time. So I think Unleash Timberwolf, or Unleash Abusive Timberwolf. Summon the Hounds. Buff up their attack. Use a weapon durability and one of them to hit. And ping to get the last amount of damage out. I did not use Abusive there because it allowed me to more efficiently kill the 5 health minion. I did exactly 5 damage to it rather than 6 with an Abusive Sergeant. And I've got an Arcane Golem I can charge in. Sunwalker's the kind of thing you want to be Hunter's Marking. So using the Hound to get rid of the Divine Shield. Use Hunter's Mark to deal with that. And then Arcane Golem, Abusive Sergeant, ping, attack, attack. He's on 4 life. So things like Kill Command, pretty good. Leroy Jenkins, if he doesn't put down a taunt, is pretty nice. Hammer Wrath is fine for him, although if he doesn't play a taunt I win. Holy Light, okay. So I deal 11 damage next turn, so I still win. And people think Leroy's overpowered. There we go. Beat another Paladin. Surprisingly. Okay, thanks for watching my video, everyone. Hopefully these past few games have helped you learn a bit more of the decisions you should be making when playing this deck. You'll notice quite a lot of the time I just go for face, hence the name Face Hunter. But there are occasional moments where you do have to actually trade, which is a bit unfortunate. One thing I've seen some people asking about is cards you might swap in and swap out. And honestly, there are a few that are actually pretty good. So Arcane Shot, well, first of all, I think I should tell you what cards I would get rid of from this deck if I was changing it around. First off, you can drop a single bow if you want. I really like the consistency of getting a bow early on, so I run 2 of them. But 2 is not entirely necessary. You can drop 1. Freezing Trap can go. You can drop this whenever you want. Timberwolf is not entirely necessary. Abusive Sergeant isn't entirely necessary. So, Arcane Shots. Arcane Shots are essentially the same way you'd use tiny little kill commands or your hero power. With the added bonus that they're good for killing off 2 health minions for cheap. I would probably swap 2 of these in for Freezing Trap if I was against aggro very often. It's like adding more Abusive Sergeants into your deck, really. That's pretty nice. Alternative card you can put in your deck is Animal Companion. Animal Companion is a bit of an odd card in this deck because it doesn't really fill the same sort of role as a lot of other cards in this deck does. You've got the chance of getting a 4-2 charge for 3, which is the same as Arcane Golem, without the negative battle cry, which is nice. That happens 1/3 of the time. 1/3 of the time you get the 4/4 taunt, which is alright. If your opponent removes it, it's just, well, I'd said nothing's happened from playing that card, and you haven't dealt any damage to your opponent, they're no closer to dying, which is a bit mediocre. Or you get the 2/4 that buffs the attack of all allied minions. If you get that, and you have a Unleash the Hounds, essentially you've done a 3-mana Timberwolf. Which, well, why would you pay 3 mana when you can pay 1 mana, eh? So, yeah, it's got its uses, but I personally don't run it. I see some people running, like, Tundra Rhino in Face Hunter, and for the life of me, I think that's pretty bad. I wouldn't recommend that. In terms of, say, neutral minions, one neutral minion that I see run every now and then is Bluegill Warrior. And while I think Bluegill is alright, I think that it serves the same purpose as your hero power the majority of the time, so I just don't have it in, I just have hero power on demand, Bluegill Warriors whenever I want. The only other card I can think of off the top of my head that I would consider for this deck is Knife Juggler. Knife Juggler, Unleash the Hounds is pretty nice. Chucking out all those knives when you summon a minion is, when you play the spell, is pretty good. It can be extra face damage, but you don't really go for board control too much with this deck, so he's going to die very quickly. You've got no way to protect him. And I don't really know of any other card I'd put in here. I think things like Dark Iron Dwarf, Argent Commander, there's a 5-mana card as well I'm thinking of. Nightblade, and where is it? Reckless Rocketeer. I've seen people running all of those cards, and I just think they're too expensive for the deck. You want to be killing your opponent on turn 7, usually with a combination of multiple cards, so you don't really want to have a 6-drop in your hand at any point in the game. And with that, it goes without saying that any of these big cards are all useless for you. You do have the Hunter legendary, King Crush, and while some people have said that they like it, and they think it's alright, and I personally haven't tried it because I don't have it, I don't imagine it'd be too good in this deck, because it's cost 9 mana, and usually you just want to kill your opponent on turn 7 or 8, so having this card is a dead card for the entire game. Yeah. So, I like the deck as it is. I like the fact there are so many different traps in it. The other traps in this deck that you can run are Snipe and Snake Trap. Snipe is good against Zoo. It kills everything Zoo plays apart from Doomguard, which is wonderful. Snake Trap's a bit mediocre, really. You play Snake Trap, and all of a sudden you have snakes, and they do nothing. They're just, like Snake Trap, Buzzard draws you cards. That's the only real, useful thing I could think of. Because they don't deal damage the turn you play it. So, hope that helps as well if you're not happy with the deck list and you want to change it a bit. I have actually genuinely considered Bestial Wrath in this deck, as it's 1 mana deal 2 damage, just like Abusive, just like Arcane Shot. I think it could work, honestly. I think this is one of the very few decks where Bestial Wrath could actually work. Yeah. I'll see you guys later then. Hope you enjoyed the guide. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Alright, ta-ra.